What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Six Man Blitz. We're here today. The play-ins today. The games are happening. NBA playoffs this week. We're hyped. But, for my intro, I'm going to talk about the Marvels. The trailer just dropped today. I'm all for, women power, women superhero movies. I didn't see Black Widow, but I'll probably see this one. This one looks good. Black woman in this one, Monica Rambeau, or Rambo, tomato, whatever one. But it looks interesting with this, and just might be a movie I give a shot. What you thinking about it? Did you check out the trailer?
Yeah, I liked it. I like how they had all three of them in it, and they're kind of connected. And that's one of the comics that I really ain't dived too deep into as a child. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. But also, interested to see what Marvel looks like in the future. This is going to look different.
Yeah, this is supposed to set up Kang Dynasty, or one of the Kang movies. It's supposed to set it up well, but hopefully it's another great Marvel film, because some of the last couple films, been a little so 50-50.
Hit or miss. They're trying to diversify as well. Like,
I got no problem with that, though.
Getting different pockets, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And do different subgenres and subtext and all that fun stuff.
We love to hear that. But let's get straight into the NBA talk, So the playing games today. What are we looking at today? Who you got today? The Lakers, Timberwolves, Miami Heat versus the Hawks. Who you got today?
Yeah, I think the Hawks probably have a better chance than Minnesota to pull something off today. But yeah, I like both teams that are favorited going into it, and just with what Minnesota's had to overcome as of late, like everybody punching something. Everybody finding something to punch on.
Yeah, everything that could have went wrong went wrong in that game.
And walls and all types of shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. And then lost two of their best defenders in a game where that, like, if they're at full strength, that's a good matchup. Yeah. But without those two guys, it only makes it harder. I still think they'll have a chance and they'll keep it close, but I'm not expecting any upsets tonight.
Me either. The Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, he's going to play very well. Last playoffs, he was balling out. Some people say they play better without Rudy Gobert, but it's, Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels being out that's going to hurt him a lot. So I'm interested to see the Lakers, and the Heat get two statement wins going into the playoffs, because, I think we're pretty sure that those two teams are going to win. But it's going to be interesting, though, with the Miami Heat. When they do win today, they're going to have to play the Boston Celtics. What do you think are their chances against Boston? Because, hey, don't forget last year. Don't forget. Congested as hell. Hey, don't forget last year they played against the Celtics. Eastern Conference Finals, or it was the Eastern Conference Finals, right? It went 7 games, and you know what you're getting with Jimmy Butler. So what do you expect out of this first-round matchup between the Celtics and the Heat?
I expect a gentleman sweep.
What?
This ain't the Heat of last year.
Okay.
This Heat team is, ain't nothing changed. And they've only gotten worse. So I don't expect too much.
You don't think
from Miami? I think they'll make every game interesting, but I think, and they'll pull one off at home, but that's about it.
I think I give the Heat, fair shot in this series. I think it'll go 7, because Jimmy Butler steps up in the playoffs. And with the Heat, Kevin Love, that addition is pretty decent. And I think they're getting more healthier. Kyle Lowry's coming off the bench. It's going to come down to their guys having to play well. They're going to have to make 3-pointers. They're going to have to shoot the ball well. That's something we've seen them not do this year very well. But I think come playoff time, we'll see a different team. And this is a tough 7th-round match. This is a tough first-round matchup for the Celtics, because, them coming in, they don't have Ime Udoka, and the Celtics team coming into the playoffs, without that head coaching experience like they had last year, that defensive prowl like they had last year, because Udoka had them playing defense very well. So I think them matching up against the Heat is a tough first round matchup, but I'll probably take Boston.
Okay, so we're on two ends of the spectrum with that one. I mean, we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested to see it, but looking into the West,
the Grizzlies, they're a team that have lost some players too. Brandon Clark was a big man off the bench. He would give you 10 a night off the bench, which is huge. And then you would have Steven Adams too, who's banged up as well. And a lot of people have been talking about Jaren Jackson being that big man, him playing to the level he's been playing. I think he leads the league in blocks. But once Anthony Davis is cooking him and he's getting in foul trouble, who's the next big man up? That one dude, they calling him Zebo Jr., Kenny Lofton, you know what I'm talking about? Like this big light-skinned dude.
Yeah, they just re-signed him. Yeah, big light-skinned dude.
Yeah, he's going to have to step up.
Oh, man, come on now. So, I do like Jared Jackson in that matchup with him and AD. Yeah. So, and then obviously Ja is going to be the difference.
Dylan Brooks, too. Will he be able to defend LeBron?
So, if Ja could be the best player on the court, which he's capable of 4 times in a row, they would. Not 4 times in a row, but 4 times out of however many games that they play, I think the Grizzlies win. I'm interested to see what this year looks like. I'm excited for the playoffs. There's so many unique matchups.
Yeah. I mean, and with the Lakers, too. Who are you taking in the series then? The Grizzlies or the Lakers? It seems like you're leaning more towards the Grizzlies in this one.
I think so, because last year they were there. You know what I'm saying? They have the youth on their side, and they're going to be really gritty. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers have looked really good after the playoff push they made after All-Star break. So, but they haven't really. The strength schedule wise has been at the bottom. Schedule, so I want to see them against a gritty Memphis team who gonna pop that shit all.
It's a parade in South City. They're gonna be talking that shit. It's gonna be a gritty ass series. And one thing that is gonna have to be huge for this series is D'Angelo Russell. He's gonna have to play to a high level. If he can give you 20 a night, kind of, if he can be that third kind of guy, and then you have Austin Reeves too, not have to be because I think D'Angelo Russell is going to have to play better than Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves can't be the third best player. He can't outplay D'Angelo Russell.
No.
And then it's going to come down to other guys like Malik Beasley, Hachimura, the Asian dude. Yeah. They all going to have to step up because, like you mentioned, this Grizzlies team is young. They're going to be able to, be out there for a while. Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane's going to be huge in this game. So, yeah, what is your prediction, though? Like, how many games do you think this is going to go?
This might go 7.
I think so, too. I think it's going to go 7.
I think it goes 6 or 7. Yeah. 6 guaranteed, but 7 for sure. And if you're the Lakers, you only getting older. Like, how reliable are they in that grueling of a playoff run? Like 7 games
and being in the play-in too.
After that, who you gonna have to go play after that?
Probably the winner, the Golden State or Sacramento, the winner of that.
Right, and so you're gonna have to go play Golden State. They're gonna oust y'all ass. They're gonna be running up and down the floor on you.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great series too. I was gonna act I was expecting you to say the Lakers were gonna beat the Grizzlies, but I'm glad that you are with the Grizzlies in this one. Then I was gonna go to the point. How far do you think the Lakers can make it? They beat the Grizzlies, and then you mentioned, the Sacramento or the Warriors. You wouldn't take them in that Warriors series either then, huh?
No, I wouldn't take them against the Warriors. I'd take them. I wouldn't dislike. I like them against the Kings, though.
I do too.
But I don't see I see Golden State winning that series.
With Wiggins back now, Payton.
I think they would probably take it 6 games with the Warriors.
Okay.
And that's about it. So a second round exit, I think, is their fullest potential. If they see Sacramento, then maybe they get to the next round. But that's how high I am on them.
It's going to be a tough stretch. I mean, you got to beat the Grizzlies, who's you're going to go 7 games with that most likely. Then the Warriors. If you beat the Warriors, then you're looking at probably Phoenix, and that's not going to be easy. But looking past that, other than the two teams, the 7 seeds and the 2nd seed matchups, what playoff series are you the most excited for out of all of them?
I think there's no question the Suns and Clippers.
Hey, that's going to be a good ass series. KD versus Kawhi. I mean, shit.
Yeah, like, come on now. Saying Paul George may not be back in time, so
yeah, I think he's going to miss a couple games in the series, but maybe if it goes game 6 or 7, he'll probably come back for that. Maybe.
Okay, so I love the Clippers' depth.
I do too,
but the Suns got KD, who's just was the first player to average 55, 50, and 90, or some crazy shit like that. So. The man is a demon.
Oh yeah,
and the greatest weapon we've ever seen on the offensive end of the floor. So you got him, and then you got Booker, who is
he's been playing better with KD being there now too.
Yeah, he's only gotten better just because KD takes so much. Like, KD is the number one option, so he's going to get number one defenses. Whereas now, Booker can eat. Great looks, and he's a shooter. Yeah. So, I love that matchup for sure. In the East first round, I would probably go with that Miami-Boston series, the one I'm looking at the most.
Mm-hmm.
But that, as well as that 4-5 with Cleveland in the
that's going to be a good series too.
Let's see what they're really made of.
Bronson.
2 gritty teams, 2 teams that have made great decisions in a free agency, and it paid off.
Mm-hmm. Huge. But with this Clippers-Suns series, I'm the most excited for that series as well. How many games do you see this going? You think the Clippers, or are you going to give? You think you give the Clippers a fair shot in this series? Because
absolutely,
I think Kawhi's got to step up. He's got to play good, and then Norman Powell,
Kawhi and KD can easily cancel out.
Yeah, and Norman Powell, if he can give you 20 off the bench, that's going to be huge.
He's a beast, bro.
Yeah, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, he's a great wing defender, and they've got depth. Like I said,
hella depth.
You hella wings, wing daddies over there.
Daddies.
And
I never heard anybody use that. Wing daddies. Hey, Suns better be shit. They gonna be.
And don't they call you that at Wingstop, nigga?
Nah. But yeah, I mean, so you're leaning more towards the Suns in this series then. If you had to bet.
Yeah. Depending on where Paul George comes back, and even if he does, to work yourself in the heat of it all would be tough. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards the Suns.
Let me ask you this, though. If the Suns do lose the series to the Clippers, is all that talk about Durant, all that stuff, is he going to get a lot of talk about him, not coming up short in the next offseason, you think?
I mean, he got traded at the deadline, so I think people are going to give him an excuse. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't played.
He's been banged up all year.
He's only played 8-9 games with them.
Undefeated, too. And
he's undefeated. Yeah. Right, so I think that he'll definitely hear it, especially in the offseason when there's not much to talk about. But they'll have a year to put all the pieces together and get a bunch of vets that'll sign some veteran minimums to just ring chase. So they'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, for sure. Next year, I think that is the year they win a title, or they have a better shot to win the title. But this year, the West is so wide open, man. There's people on First Take, they were like, I see 6 teams, 7 teams that can win the Western Conference in this playoffs. So this is going to be really crazy down the stretch. It's going to be crazy in the first round too. But one matchup that we talked about a little, the Sacramento Kings and the Warriors. How many games do you see this series going?
Ooh. So is Andrew Wiggins going to play?
Oh, yeah, he's going to play. He's back. He's going to play game 1.
Okay. So, yeah, I like it to go. It could go 6, but I'm going to guess 5.
Okay, gentleman sweep. Mike Brown?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be easy.
I think that just that experience, too, the Warriors have. You want to hear something crazy? I seen a crazy stat on Twitter it said Steve Kerr has not lost to a Western Conference team in the playoffs. He's only lost to the Raptors and I think the Cavs. Ain't that shit crazy?
Yeah.
Since he's been the coach of the Warriors, he's only lost to 2 Eastern Conference teams in the playoffs.
Right.
So that experience.
They lost that playing game to LeBron and them.
No, they lost the playing game to the Grizzlies.
Oh, to the
They
Grizzlies.
beat the Warriors. So, I don't know. The playing might count. Oh, wait, no. I think Mike Brown was coaching. Or, nah. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But, no, the Kings have been a huge surprise this year. And like the Beam, they've been a great story. But I don't see them lasting too long in the ring with the Warriors. I think it goes at best 6 games. But this playoffs, it could get dicey. Who knows? Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox. This is going to be their first time in the playoffs. Like, really into that onto that stage. I mean, I think Sabonis was in the playoffs with the Pacers, but this is going to be a huge task for them going against the Warriors. And with that stat I mentioned, it's they don't have good odds.
No, I don't like their odds at all.
But another question I got for you: who do you think has the most to benefit from winning a title, legacy wise? Curry, LeBron. Who's your person that you pick that needs this title the most?
Man, I think the younger guys who haven't proven it yet, like the Embiids.
If he gets a title, that's huge.
Right. Embiid, you even look at Jokic in the West. He's got all these MVPs, but his game don't translate in the playoffs.
No.
So those are 2 guys I'm looking at. And then Jason Tatum in Boston, like, what's going on? Like,
that finals last year, he's got to redeem himself.
You finished the season 1 game back of the first, the best record in the league. So there's no excuse. You've been there last year. You got the experience. If all you guys are healthy, and
they're the number 1 seed.
Going in there. So I think those 2 teams, if you look at them, if you look at the top 3 teams in the East, I'd arguably take them over everybody in the West.
Yeah.
Maybe outside of Golden State. So that's how dominant those 3 teams are. And Giannis already has a title, and we've seen him dominate at the highest level imaginable. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have as much pressure, but Jason Tatum and Joel Embiid are the guys I'm like trying to all right now, and Jokic too, out of the West.
Now, like with Giannis being the best player in the league, we know he's the best player. Let's say an Embiid or Tatum win that title this year. Do they overthrow him as the best player, or do they creep into that conversation, you think? Or even a Kevin Durant, if he wins the title this year with the Suns?
Easily. And, that's always going to be a year by year trophy you got to earn every year. Like, there was a point where KD was the best player in the league, and Giannis took that shit immediately, and we didn't expect that.
50-point triple-double in the finals and shit. Yeah, he took that shit.
Right. Come on now. So, and then you look at what Kawhi's been able to do since the All-Star break, and
he's been
dominant.
On a tear.
So there's always some opportunity, but I think as of right now, Giannis got that shit in the headlock.
Yeah, he does. But now it looks like Embiid's got the MVP in lock. I think he's got like 8 first place votes right now. It's looking more towards his favor, but him or Joker, which one would you rather have in the playoffs if you had to choose?
Oh, him, no question.
Embiid over Joker?
Yes, because he's a rim defender for one.
Okay.
And he's a bona fide scorer. Like, I love that. So
he gonna show up.
Whereas you've seen what teams can expose Jokic in the playoffs a lot easier than they can Embiid.
Yeah.
And you've seen what Golden State did to his ass when he fell. So come on now.
Yeah. And he's had a couple bad spots.
They just made him play defense, made him guard the ball, and it was a shit show. So Come on now.
And yeah, with
It was the
Embiid,
easiest.
Embiid too, I feel like I've seen him. He dominates more, I think. He puts up those performances where it's like 44 points. It just dominates.
Right, 50 points against Boston.
Yeah,
He affects dominant
the game.
And a rim defender. Yeah. So I'm going to take him over Jokic. Honestly.
In the playoffs, you need that more.
Jokic does a lot of things great, but he's the best passer. Mm-hmm. He's an elite passer and a scorer. And he can do everything offensively, but he's an extreme liability defensively, especially when you play teams like Golden State. And he's not the type of guy where it's like, okay, guys are missing shots, I'm gonna start taking them.
Yeah,
like
gonna take over.
He's always gonna make the best play. And if guys ain't knocking down shots, then that impacts his game. Whereas Embiid is gonna get his.
He's gonna take over. We've seen him go on runs by himself, and they foul him. He's making the free throws at a efficient ass clip. So he's taking the game over. Mm-hmm. Like I think it was against Boston. They were about to lose that damn game, but he went on like a huge ass run by himself. A couple threes, went to the foul line, was making the free throws. So yeah, I think definitely I would choose Embiid. And I mean, today I just give back to that Raptors series against the Kawhi. He was playing so good in that series. Jimmy Butler was playing great. He was a finisher. And, Ben Simmons, imagine if that shot didn't go in. Embiid would probably had a chip by now.
That's a good point.
Something to think about. Joker, I mean, has he ever got that close? I think that did they go to the? They went to
the Western Conference Finals in the bubble.
Yeah.
Lost to the Lakers. In 5, I think.
Yeah, I think they were down 3-1 again, and this time they didn't get back up.
Well, no, they didn't. They didn't get hot.
Yeah,
they thought they was though.
Okay, but which one, Joker or Embiid? Which one, if they lose and come up short in the playoffs, is a bigger disappointment? You think?
I think Jokic, because he's the number one seed, back-to-back MVP, and a weaker conference.
Yeah, it's wide open.
So there's no excuse for him. There's no excuse.
It's tough too, though, because I don't think anybody's really talking about the Nuggets to win it this year, too. Like, they're the number one seed. Nobody's like, I got the Nuggets winning it.
They're not even considered.
The Warriors.
If you look at, like, the lines, they're not even.
Are they on the top 5?
1, 2, 3, 4. They're 5.
Damn.
Best odds. 5th best odds.
Like, has that happened before?
Celtics, Suns, Warriors. Then.
Because usually, like, the number one seed, they're up there closer. Like, when the Suns were number one seed,
they're usually the 1 or 2.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy.
So the Bucks are number one seed, and they're the best. They're the most favored.
Now, speaking of disappointments, though, heading towards this season, there's been a lot of disappointments in this year. The Brooklyn Nets, they amounted to they still got the 6th seed, but just aspirations for a championship this year. It was gone when KD and Kyrie left. And then you look at the Mavs not making the playoffs, not even making the play-in. And then Rudy Gobert, that trade. All the shit that the Timberwolves gave up? There were like 4 first-round picks, Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley. So which one was the biggest disappointment? Because Rudy Gobert, too, he's not even playing in the play-in this year, in play-in game against the Lakers. Which one was the biggest disappointment, you think?
I think, that trade for them was just like it didn't make sense when they did it, and now it still don't make sense. Like, they haven't got any better. I think last year they were a better team.
Yeah. They gave a Pat Bev too in that trade. If that means anything.
And it just proves why Jimmy wanted to get up out of there.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. Anthony Edwards might be the next one trying to get out. And
if this continues, it's like roster-wise, they have good talent.
Yeah.
But for some reason or another, they still continue to underachieve.
I mean, they're a good team. They got some good players. Karl Anthony Towns is good. They got some great pieces. It just needed, better help on the bench, I think. They're a couple pieces away from really doing something, I think. Anthony Edwards, he could be something special. Yeah, I know people are comparing him to Michael Jordan. Last year in the playoffs, I was like, damn, he's really hooping. He's really stepping up at that level. So we already know what we're getting with him. Karl Anthony Towns, sometimes people call him soft and shit. So, but I'd agree with you. The Rudy Gobert trade was definitely it might go down as one of the worst trades of all time. It's that bad. Because Walker Kessler, this one of the guys they picked up in the draft, they sent him to Utah too. And he's putting up better numbers in blocks and rebounds than Gobert.
It's not as bad as that Kyrie trade, though.
Yeah, that really fucked the Mavs. They didn't even make the play in because of that. Dinwiddie and
they just gave up all their guys for a guy who's probably not going to be there.
Mm. You think he will stay though? Kyrie, you think he'll want to stay?
No, he's not staying.
Or you think he's gonna go then?
I think he's gonna go to the Lakers.
What about D'Lo then? They gonna get rid of him? They gonna trade him?
Man, ain't nobody tripping about D'Lo. That's the reason why he's been on how many teams he's been on. Yeah. So, you take Kyrie over D'Lo any day of the week.
But you think he'll affect what they got going on? You think they'll have? Low-key, as long as they keep Vanderbilt, some of those pieces that because that dude's been huge for them defensively. Because the Mavs, I think they would have still been decent if they would have kept Finney-Smith, because they don't have nobody that can defend on that team.
Zero.
And that was a huge loss for them. I don't know. So what would the Lakers look like then with AD, Kyrie, and LeBron? You think they would be the favorite to win the chip?
It seems like it's just going to add more volatility to their regular season. They ain't never going to all three be healthy. It's going to be one of them always going to have something going on.
Yeah,
related outside of basketball. And they're going to try to wait to the last run after the All-Star break to get it all together, and it ain't going to never work. So, no, I don't see it having much success. And then LeBron, a year older, AD, he made out of glass. So. No, I'm not high on it, but I think they'll still be like a 5th, 6th seed, though.
Still be in contention. That's fair. LeBron, I don't know what he's going to look like next year. I know he's looking really good this year still, but he's been banged up with some injuries too. So, But so you think they would be better off with Kyrie this year than they are now?
Oh, no question.
It's fair. I say 8. Because, I think D'Lo, he's not the type to put up 26. He's not that kind of guy to close the game out. I might be wrong, but
Kyrie
from what I'm seeing, Kyrie's going to make that game-winning shot. He's going to be able to be there. And LeBron, they play together very well. They work together well. So I think if Kyrie could go anywhere, I think it would be there. But another option, too, Miami Heat. He could go to Miami, play with Jimmy Butler. I can see that.
I like that idea, too. And in a place where, you would think Boston was that way too, but with the Ime scandal and Kyrie already going there, but maybe Miami is that place.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
They got to get Kyle Lowry out there. We're going to keep talking about his thick ass. He got to go.
Wait, what?
Pause. Hey,
spicy man.
But Luka, we mentioned him. Him and Trae Young were a part of a pretty even deal. I think, Luka going to the Mavs and Trae Young going to the Hawks. The Hawks have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Luka has took the Mavs to the Western Conference Finals. But reports are swirling out that, the Hawks ownership has given the green light to trade Trae Young and put him in trade talks. What do you think about this? What do you make of this? A 24-year-old superstar. What does that do for your team?
He's an all-star.
He's an all-star. He's not a superstar?
It's 26 and 10. Yeah, he liked that. Don't get me wrong, but, I don't know, maybe it's the height and just,
He's a defensive liability for sure.
Yeah, huge liability defensively. So, and, although he's 24, he's been there
4 years.
we've had a good enough sample size to see what it's like. So it's tough to say. I wouldn't. It depends really what you get back for him. But I would, if I would ask you, like, yeah, he could be a tradable piece, especially when you got DeJounte Murray too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard though. It's hard to say because he's their identity. I feel like, what do the Hawks look like without him? I mean, you build around DeJounte Murray then, or I mean, because they're gonna. I think they're. If you trade him away, you'll probably get a haul. You'll probably get a lot back. I seen a trade that had Bones Highland, Eric Gordon, and I think Robert Covington or something, sending them to the Hawks, a couple first round picks for Trae Young to go to the Clippers, which that'd be nice. But
that would be really
and there
nice.
was another one that was like, oh, Paul George straight up for Trae Young, which I don't know if the Hawks say yes to that. So I don't know who was coming up with this fucking trade. It was like one of those forced trade type shits where you just like change the settings, be like, accept that shit at all costs.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, I think I'm more on the side of the Hawks. You know, it doesn't make sense for them to trade Trae Young. I put a video out of YouTube short about this. Like, it just doesn't make sense to get rid of a guy who's took you to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's one of the reasons Ben Simmons has lost his talent. He took Ben Simmons' talent in that series. So
that's true.
Yeah, he's done a lot already in the league. I think there's still a lot of potential with him. You put a couple more pieces around him, some more shooters, get him another guy. I mean, they could do something because, you know, the East, every year, there's always that new team that comes in, so you never know. Now, let's finish up with some NFL talk. Now, OBJ signed with the Ravens. I want to get your thoughts on this move.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he posted the FaceTime with Lamar and OBJ. I mean, so Lamar's good with this. He recruited him to come to Baltimore. So what are your thoughts on this acquisition?
I think it was a great move for Baltimore to get Lamar back, and to add depth and a superstar talent that you haven't had at the position in your existence.
Probably since Anquan Boldin.
Yeah, they overpaid for him, but that's because that's what it took to get him. So they got their guy. That's all that matters. Like, people care too much about the price tag. Like,
salary cap ain't even real anyways.
Ain't no price tag on a Super Bowl, and they have a Super Bowl caliber defense. Mm-hmm. Lamar is the only thing that's gonna give them a chance to compete with the Burrows and the Mahomes of the AFC. Yeah. So you get that guy what he's been begging for outside of money to kind of sweeten the pot. So I think this locks in Lamar's future for Baltimore. Mm-hmm. They just got to come up with a solution, whether that's tagging him next year and getting a deal done after.
He might play under the tag, who knows?
Or get a deal done.
Yeah. I like this move too. Him and Rashad Bateman, though, those two together, what do you think about that duo? Where do they rank as a receiver duo, receiver corp now?
Well, we got to see them play consistently. Like, those are two guys that are in and out of the lineup. Odell just coming, 2 years removed. The other guy, shit, his ass. But we've, both are extremely talented on paper. So I would love to see that matchup. And then you add Aguilar to that mix too.
He's a good acquisition now. It's a good acquisition now that you have OBJ. And now it's just depth. And he's not just a signing for, receiver 2 type shit. So that's a good move.
Exactly.
And Mark Andrews is going to benefit too. Like, this offense actually looks pretty damn good.
Yeah. So that's going to be the biggest concern for me is health.
Yeah. And if they can stay healthy, if Lamar can stay healthy when he comes back to the Ravens, we're looking at a team that could be in that Super Bowl conversation that can take on the Chiefs. Because you look at Lamar's record against the Bengals and Joe Burrow, Bengals have been getting by because Lamar has been hurt. He's 6-1 against the Bengals. It's a pretty damn good record.
Right.
You could say, if Lamar doesn't get hurt, does Joe Burrow have the success in the AFC and go to the AFC Championship like he's been able to?
That's true.
So there's going to be something to keep an eye out on. Hopefully it gets, done, because I would love to see Lamar and the Ravens have success next season. But other news, NFC North news, Jeff Okudah just got sent to the Falcons for a 5th-round pick, which is like, damn. I mean, like, some of the value in these trades are like a 5th-round pick for a dude that was a number 3rd overall pick when he came out of the draft.
That's what I was
like, 5th-round pick, that doesn't sound like shit. They must be taking on the contract or something. At least I think they're taking on a big portion of his contract. You get all those pieces on that secondary, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You know, you pick up some underrated corners. I thought you were going to keep him and have one of the best secondaries in the league now.
Well, injuries limited Okudah to just 10 games over his first 2 pro seasons. He started 15 for the Lions in 2022 and played his best football early in the season.
He looked good last year, though. He was banged up for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if he requested a trade or I don't know what the situation was, but
came out of nowhere.
I would be interested to see the backstory behind it because it seemed like, you know, this was an opportunity for him to continue to build playing 15 games.
Yeah, and be a part of something special. But on the Falcons side, though, they just signed Jesse Bates in the free agency, who's one of the best safeties in the league. They got A.J. Terrell, who's showed wonders in his second year, the corner out of Clemson. And then I think they still have Casey Hayward, who's, you know, a savvy vet, underrated corner in the league. So they have a pretty damn good secondary right now. So what do you think this move does for them, adding a Okudah?
It all depends on what they do in the draft, honestly. Yeah. You know, all that is cool, but it sounds like you don't have a quarterback yet. So
true.
You're going to be 7-10 again next year, regardless of how much depth you have at DB. So, you know, these are all good moves, and you're making this a destination players want to come. So it's just about getting that guy.
No, yeah, for sure. And, I mean, you're going to be like the Carolina Panthers with the secondary and the defense they have. You had no quarterback. They're going to, you know, be 7-10 competitive team, but you're not going to do shit.
Right.
And it's a weaker division, but I don't see them being better than the Saints. I mean, even with the Panthers, they get C.J. Stroud. I give the nod to the Panthers being better than them. So even the Bucks too with Baker. Who knows?
Oh no.
I guess you know. You're like, nah, that shit ain't gonna work.
No, it's not.
But some college football news. Cliff Kingsbury is heading to USC to be the quarterback's coach, senior offensive analyst or whatever. So what do you think about this move for, you know, Caleb Williams and USC?
That's crazy.
They're gonna put up like 50 a game.
I think he's the front runner for the Heisman again, and they'll be back and get into the playoff, no question. I think the only thing stopping them last year was defensively.
Yeah.
They were atrocious. So if they shore up that side of the field, I think the sky's the moon.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the one thing. I mean, they need to bring in a Cliff Kingsbury, but for defense. Bring in a fucking Vic Fangio kind of guy to come in and coach the defense.
Right.
But I think it suits him better. I think college football suits him better. He'll be able to, you know, be able to do his thing, maybe get a head coaching position somewhere in college football. I think he could have done that without doing this move, but this is something that I think he'll succeed in. Caleb Williams, he'll be able to benefit from having 2 offensive gurus now and be able to be successful and be the generational prospect we're all saying he's going to be. So I think this is a good move for him and both parties.
Yeah, I agree. You know, you take that spanking, you take a 1-year hiatus, you go figure out what's important.
Yeah.
Then you bring your ass back in a smaller capacity until a job opens up.
A job he wants, you know, too, because I think some NFL teams he was in line to be an offensive coordinator. Some openings were calling him. People were calling him while he was on vacation and shit. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's got to come to a spot you feel comfortable at and a spot you want to take and think you'll be successful at. So this is a good move for him in the meantime of that.
I agree.
Before we head out, I'll throw out a hot take of the week for you. I think both LA teams win their first round matchup. I think the Lakers.
You think so?
I think the Lakers beat the Grizzlies in 7, and I think the Clippers beat the Grizzlies in 7. Now the Clippers, their bench will outscore the Suns in every game, I think, in this playoffs matchup. Norman Powell, Bones Highland, I think they're both going to have great production. Terrence Mann is coming off the bench as well. We've seen what he did in the playoffs that one year when Kawhi was out. They still went to the Western Conference Finals, and they had that Suns series could have went a little different had they had Kawhi. But so with this series, Paul George, I think he comes back Game 6 or Game 7. And I like the Clippers in this only because that bench is going to be a factor. Kevin Durant, Booker, we know what we're going to get out of those two guys. Chris Paul, he's been a little shaky in the playoffs sometimes. DeAndre Ayton's been a little shaky too. Zubac is going to have something for him. And then don't forget, fourth quarter, Nicholas Batum's going to be in, all right? And we know what we're getting out of him too. A shooter, he's going to play defense.
Right. Corner threes.
That's what I'm saying. And Eric Gordon, he's going to be huge coming off the bench too. He's going to be another guy. He was a 6th Man of the Year candidate for a couple of years. We're going to get production out of him. So this Clippers team, don't count them out yet. I know it looks like they're out. They're not out yet. So I like the Clippers to beat the Suns. And then who will they go against? They'll probably face Denver in the second round. Think they win in that series as well. So, and then I don't know. The one thing I don't agree with you is maybe the Lakers beat the Warriors. I think I like the Lakers in that series. And then you know what we'll see in that? I'm putting up something big. I'm creating a movie, as you said that one episode. But the Lakers Clippers, that's the Western Conference Finals. That's my Western Conference Finals prediction. And you know who runs LA then?
Battle for LA.
You know who runs LA already?
Ty Lue?
Yeah, Ty Lue and Kawhi.
They never lost.
Yeah, they've won 11 straight victories. So we're finally going to see the series we've been waiting to see since Kawhi and LeBron have been in LA. So that's my prediction for you. That's my hot take of the week. If it's wrong, fuck it. I don't care. It's just my, prediction. So
you don't care.
So the Clippers will make it to the Western Conference Finals, and so will the Lakers. Those two teams will battle it out. But I mean, the one thing I feel confident in is, the Lakers for sure beating the Grizzlies in that first round matchup. And also, I feel a little good about the Clippers. I think Ty Lue, he's the best coach in the league. I've been saying this since I've been on this podcast, since we've had 6-Man Blitz. I've been saying since he's been in LA, he's been, that upgrade from Doc Rivers being their coach was huge. So what do you think about that? If you had to rebuttal that, who would your Western Conference Finals prediction be?
I don't dislike the Suns upset, but I think the Suns and Golden State.
Oh, that would be good as fuck too.
Right, it's going to be who ends up at the end. And that's going to be good as fuck, like you said.
KD versus the whole team.
I can't wait to see that. Right.
And,
But I that would be my Western Conference Finals. And I would – man.
I wouldn't be mad at either or.
I would lean towards Golden State.
Really? Damn. They would get the best of KD. Hey, people would be talking their shit about that. He should have never left Golden State. No ring chase and all that stuff. But and then let's throw an Eastern Conference Finals prediction out there too before we head out. For me right now,
Giannis.
I think Boston and Philly are going to meet up with each other in the second round, and Boston's going to be coming off that gauntlet of a series against the Miami Heat. So I'm going to take Philly in that series. Surprising. I'm going to take Philly. Boston usually has Philly's number, but coming off that battle of a series against the Miami Heat, I like Philly, and then I like Philly going against Milwaukee because I don't think Milwaukee's going to beat the Knicks in that second round.
Oh yeah, easy.
So I think Milwaukee has an easy run to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
So Milwaukee and the 76ers going against each other, and I like Philly. I've been saying it. Philly 76ers against Clippers has been my finals prediction for probably like 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah. Sounds familiar, nigga.
But Harden and Embiid are going to show up. I think Harden, he has a lot to prove. Embiid's going to be coming off that MVP victory. So I like Philly in that matchup. I think that's a bad matchup for Milwaukee too. I think Philly, Embiid going against Giannis, that's going to be huge. Stakes are going to be high. So, what's your Eastern Conference Finals prediction then?
I got Milwaukee winning the East.
Okay.
And I think they'll play Boston.
And that I wouldn't be mad at that either because you know what you're going to get out of that series. It's going to be 7 games.
Yeah, it's going to go 7. No
Chris
question.
Middleton's health, though, is going to be a big factor, too.
Yeah, I heard he's kind of dinged up. So we'll see. And he's regressed. Drew Holiday seems like he's gotten better. So I can't wait for that series.
And Gay Crowder was a huge addition at the trade deadline. So, but yeah, that's all we got for the show today, guys. We're gonna watch, the playing games: Miami versus Atlanta, Lakers versus Timberwolves. We're gonna, post videos about, what happened, reaction, all that stuff tomorrow. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video, watching the episode. Tap in with the clips and all the stuff we're gonna be posting TikTok, Twitter. Instagram, all that stuff. Stay up to date with our content. 6-Man Blitz on everything besides the TikTok, MH97FF, I believe. But yeah, like I mentioned, keep staying up to date with our content. Thank you again for watching and listening. As always, peace. Nah, it is a play-in. Anything could fucking happen. I mean, everybody had the Heat already playing the Boston Celtics. I was guilty of it myself. Even in the podcast episode we're about to release today, I mentioned, the Boston Celtics and the Heat would be a great series. Too late. The Atlanta Hawks stomped the Heat.